never had any special respect in my in-laws' house. I didn't have any in my father's house either. My mother had run away with a boy, and despite not being responsible for him, I became the object of everyone's anger, resentment, dislike, and sacrifice. I was probably 7 years old at the time. After my mother ran away, my father got married again. My mother also got a groom and my father got a wife. But I no longer had a mother. The father who was there also left me. My stepmother didn't like me much. I never blamed her for that. Isn't it foolish to think that another person would be my own where my mother left me and ran away and my father left me? That's probably why I've always been haunted by the desire for love. I just wanted someone to love me a little, to love me with all my heart. If I couldn't live well, to have mercy, or at least to have mercy. That mercy was shown by one person. She was my aunt. But neither my stepmother nor my father liked that mercy. The day I went to my aunt's house, I didn't want to go back home. I had such a great desire to be loved. I wanted to be stuck with someone who loved me. My stepmother used to make my father's ears heavy. When I didn't want to come, my father would beat me so much that my body would shake, and sometimes I would get a fever. I was filled with pride at that time. Pride towards my mother. If my mother had just given up her hobby of starting a new family and started a family with my father, my fate wouldn't have been so humiliated. I wouldn't have died for love by going from door to door. I grew up with this desire to get my love. After a joyless childhood, I entered my teenage years. As soon as I left school and entered college, I met a boy. The boy's name was Kabi. His eyes were like poetry. His smile was like a melody. The charm on his face touched the mountains. Kabi was a bachelor in our neighborhood, an honors student. He could be found hanging out with friends at the tea shop in the area. Kabi loved red tea. Whenever I saw him, he would have a cup of tea in his hand. I won't say that I have never received a love letter in my life, but I never looked back at them. But I looked back at Kabi. One day when I was returning from college with a heavy heart, Kabi called me. He was sitting under a banyan tree at the intersection of the Union Parashad. I stood listening to the call. Kabi did not propose love to me in the language of poetry. He did not beg my heart. He only said, "Does your mother still beat you? Don't you feel pain?" There was nothing to fall in love with in this sentence. Yet I fell in love, because that was the first time someone asked if I felt pain. No one had asked me that much before. I didn't answer. I just kept my head down and shook my neck, which meant I didn't feel pain. Then I went home, although I didn't want to return home. By then, I was panting due to various abuses and unrest. I just wanted freedom from life. After the first sentence, I spoke to Kabir for the second time 9 days later. There was an exam in college that day. While rushing, I fell and tore my shoes. Kabir came forward from the tea shop. He searched the entire market with my old torn shoes in his hand and sewed my shoes. I didn't have that relationship with him that you can easily find a cobbler with my shoes in hand. Still, he helped me at that time even though we were not in a relationship. I developed feelings for Kabir. The compassion or kindness of such a stranger filled my heart. My love for the poet began in one spring. Call it greed for love, or call it the desire to have a family with the poet. I fell in love with him. The poet took great care of me from the very beginning. The poet alone seemed to pour out all the love that I was hoping to receive from my mother, father, and relatives around me. I also took it. I was accepting all the love with all my heart. My troubled life seemed to have regained some peace then. Even if my stepmother beat me, it didn't affect me. Even if my father scolded me, it didn't affect me. All the love of one person seemed to have put a wall around me. Nothing else could touch me. But my fate could not tolerate this abundant love for long. The board exams were almost here. One night my father himself saw me talking on my father's button phone. What a beating! My skin was torn and blood was coming out. I held my feet so that he wouldn't hit me. My stepmother stood at a distance and saw her and didn't even stop her. I really wanted to know. Could my mother have stood like that, like a rock? The answer came from the invisible mind. Your mother is an even bigger rock. Or she could have left a 7-year-old girl. I had finally accepted my misfortune. After that, my life was empty of love for the second and last time. My father did not let me finish the exam. He forced me to marry a widower, who was twice my age. He could never accept me as a wife. He accepted me only as a way to spend the night. Whenever there was trouble at my in-laws' house, I would listen to the gossip. My mother-in-law would say, "Your mother is a motherfucker. Will you be any better?" My husband would say, "Will it be any better in the house of a characterless woman?" You will be a motherfucker in the house of a bitch. But my character was not bad. I was not like my mother. After marriage, when I went to Nayar, Kabi called me and took me by the feet and held my feet. Did she cry? Because unfortunately, he was not in the area at the time of the wedding. He didn't know that love was being buried. After coming, he found out that his lover was in someone else's house. Someone else's. I never thought that anyone would cry for me like the poet. The poet cried and told me to run away with him. He would take care of me in every way. I also knew that the poet would take great care of me. He would enjoy me like the poet. But I didn't want to be like my mother. I didn't want anyone to say that I had a character like my mother. So I made the poet very sad. I rejected him. When I came, I had also said, "Poet, you will find a better girl than me. You will see. She will not make you sad like me. Those who know how to love deeply, I am not on their foreheads, or they on my forehead." The poet was not leaving me. Was I also able to leave him? Even though I left my hand, did my soul leave the poet? I left my lover because I would not stain my character. Despite the great greed for love, I left love. But I didn't realize that my character was scarred at the age of 7. The scar was on my forehead, my cruel fate, and the biggest scar was on my happiness. My in-laws kept me like a discarded object. I stayed too. By then I had become accustomed to not getting love. So I didn't celebrate the regret of not getting love again. I thought that this is how my life would pass, like a machine with bad luck. I would spend my life getting kicked and kicked in the world, but my fate didn't want it. My fate couldn't bear it that I would make a living despite getting kicked. My marriage with my husband ended. It happened for a very small reason. He got into a fight with me and said that I had no character. I told him in return that if he called me without character, he would tear out my tongue. Why did I say that? I don't know why. But I blurted it out. In fact, I wanted love and respect all my life. I have tried my whole life not to get this stigma of I am like my mother, but until the end, maybe my dumb lips were talking. My husband divorced me today in one fell swoop. The sky is full of stars outside. The night is full of light. He has no thought about that. At this moment, I have to leave the house in one piece. I am standing on the bridge whose name is Shaplerpool. An unknown river flows under the bridge. All the reflections of the moon above my head are falling into the water of the river. Seeing this moon and the river cast by the moon's shadow, I am reminded of my mother today. The moon is just like my mother, and the river is me. The moon itself has been tarnished by tarnishing it and tarnishing the river with its light, just like one act of my mother has tarnished my entire life. I want to ask my mother, "How are you, mother, after taking away the happiness of my entire life? Did you get the happiness that you gave up your family for? Mother, you ruined this life for no reason. I was not a spoiled girl, mother, yet I got the spoiled label because I was your daughter. Are you happy because you are the disgrace of your child?" The wind is blowing gently on my body. I remember so many things today. I remember the scene of the poet crying. Why didn't the boy cry while holding his feet? I heard that today he is living a happy life with his red-haired wife. But what happened to me? I gave up the greed for love because I didn't want to be a spoiled girl. But what did I end up getting in life? My chest felt heavy. I was very proud. Well, I have become characterless without doing anything. What if I really become a spoiled girl this time?